did suggest that they should start doing tours, and nobody'd be interested. And then I think Clive said to me, "Do you think we should try these tours?" And I said, "I think that'd be great." I said, "I'd definitely come on one." He said, "Well, you're going to be running them. You do. You know, we'll get an idea together and see how it runs." And in the early days, Clive thought it would be a great idea to do the pit stop wheel change challenge. And that's quite difficult to say. Let me see if I can say it again. The pit stop wheel change challenge. Right. So when we were in the old building, we'd have a car set up, and the tour people would come in, and then we'd get them on the air gun and get them on the jack. Yeah. But they messed up. They cross-threaded so many. So in the end, we stopped doing that. And then we used to let them sit in the cars until one bloke got in the car, and there's a big red button on the dashboard. You know, you don't press the big red button. He pressed the big red button. Of course, and that fired off the extinguisher. So what were we charging for tours then? I don't know, 19 quid, 20 quid. That cost him £300 or £400 just because the car had to be stripped down because the extinguishers flooded the engine. Then we had another bloke and he got cramp. And we couldn't
good place to get cramp is in there.
We couldn't get him out of the car. And there was talk about cutting the car up. After that, so we cut him up and he's buried out. That's not true.
Hopefully not. Right, now I know you've been involved with other Lotus groups, and you're quite involved with the Lotus owners gathering in the United States.
Good bunch.
I met you a few years ago. I met you in Florida.
In Florida. Yeah.
And I know from on Facebook and that, some of the people in America, Lotus owners and that, often mention you, and you're quite a popular speaker.
Well, I think I'm just a bigwig. They think I'm bloody marvellous. If only they knew the truth.
Do you find the Americans are fairly gullible?
No.
No?
What are you talking about? No, I tell you what.
They're very enthusiastic, aren't they? The Americans are...
2002, I first became involved with Lotus Limited, which is the club out there in North America, largest club in North America. And a chap by the name of Bob Metz, I met through internet. I think he was trying to groom me. No, he wasn't. No, that's a lie. And he said, "I'm coming over to England. Do you think you can sort me out anything at the factory?" And I was then doing driver training. Yeah. So we were doing the Lotus experience, where you could drive an Elise, an Exige, and a 340R. Yeah. That was right, 340R. Yes, yeah. So I organised that, and I picked him up from Norwich Station, took him over to the factory, and he had a great time. And then I took him back to mine. We had some dinner, and I took him back to the station. And about 2 weeks later, he contacted me. He said, "Oh, I really enjoyed that trip. Do you think you could do something for some of the members in my club?" I said, "Well, yeah, I think I probably could." Yeah. So the first trip, I think it was 8 came over, and I spent a few days, and we came out the factory. We did Classic Team Lotus. We did a few other things, and then the next trip, a few months later, I think I had about 28 came over.
Really?
Then I got invited over to a log meeting in the States, and I gave a little presentation on the Sunday. And every year I've been invited back to probably host the Saturday night banquet, which is great fun. It's always a bit scary because they never give me any prior knowledge of what to do. You know, I know there's things going on, but they always think, "Oh, he'll cope with that." Yeah. But I've honestly made so many friends. Good friends.
Couldn't make it this year though.
No, nearly.
I see on Facebook there was a lot of people posting on there at the gathering with you and a cardboard cutout.
Yeah, they made a cardboard cutout of it. That was funny, wasn't it?
That was funny, yeah.
Yeah, and actually I looked better than I did. And everybody was having their picture taken.
I know.
And
by the end of it was looking quite creased.
Yeah.
I don't know what they've been doing with it.
I tell you what, there was some... I wanted to find out whose bedroom I was in, because I think there was some abuse went on.
Well, as long as it weren't Dave Simpkins.
I think Simpkin was the main one.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Filthy devil.
Yeah, dirty beast. So, did you through your gatherings, your historic tours?
I like that, dirty beast.
I know, well, you must have met some famous people, very interesting people through either the connections with Lotus or, I mean, the thing with these cars, Formula One cars, exotic sports cars, they seem to attract certain people.
Do you mean drivers, famous drivers?
Not necessarily drivers, or could I say hangers-on? There's always people that...
Well, see, I'm a hanger-on.
Well, we all are in a way.
You talk to the lads here, they reckon I'm the biggest waste of space. And they give me so much grief. But I'm just lucky I get the chance to... When I say work with them, I'm not wrenching spanners, but sometimes... They'll say, Richard, just give us a hand, and it's always a pleasure because the lads here are really nice. Yeah. But I've just met most of my heroes because they're sometimes driving the cars. Well, just Mario. I've been to Mario's, his two places in America. I've visited both of those. Emerson, I've seen Emerson, Jack. Well, just the list goes on. And it's just an honour. Well, it's a boyhood dream, isn't it? If that's your passion, and Lotus is your passion, and you're seeing people who've made Team Lotus famous, and you get the chance to talk to them and not hang with them exactly, but
I know what you mean.
But other people, there is so many. And Lotus owners in general are nice people. Yeah,
I found out. They're probably, I mean, I haven't met Porsche owners, Mercedes owners, but all the Lotus owners that I've come in contact with in the USA, in Europe, Germany, they're all enthusiasts.
Yeah.
They know about the history of the cars, they know about the brand. They probably know a lot more than some of the people across the road do.
Well, they know more than what some of them
it's
more
amazing
than I do.
That the passion for Lotus. It's just phenomenal, which I don't think any brand has got.
I think a good example of that, and it's very difficult because I've got so many friends out there just to pick one person, but the one that stands out is Paul Rigo, and you've heard me talk about Paul Rigo and Rigogo Racing. I met him at one of the logs. I don't know, it was 10, 15 years ago. And I had no clue who he was. Biggest chap, long hair.
I've seen pictures,
didn't speak, but he had a bit of an entourage with him. There was about 5 or 6 people with him, and I was selling. I think Clive was over there, and when I say we were selling, I think Clive said that we will sell stuff. I was selling stuff. If you understand what I mean. And I had all this stuff laid out, and this bloke, long hair, came up, and I think he had some pair of Ray-Bans on and entourage, and didn't speak very much, and he virtually bought all the stock I had. I thought, that's a result. That was, I don't know, it was about $5,000, $6,000 worth. And anyway, the next morning I was sitting in reception, and one of his sidekicks came down, Pete Hogue, and I was talking to Pete, and I said, your governor, he's a bit of a character, and he told me, told me about him. And the next thing, I get a phone call. He wants to come over because I suggested he comes over and does Lotus. He'd never been over to the UK and done Lotus, and I said, we can go up to the Jim Clark Museum because he's a big Jim Clark fan. So they came over. I had to pick them up from Heathrow. There was about 8 of them, and they spent the week with me, and we toured around, and I took them over to the factory and walked them through. And I was talking to Paul about, you remember they made the Type 25, red seat, it was a Jim Clark edition thing. And I was talking to Paul as we walked through the factory and telling him about this special edition Elise that was probably 3 or 4 months previously. Yeah. God, he said, I like the sound of that. And as we walked out, he said, can you get me 2 of those? And I thought he meant models. Yeah. I said, well, I don't think they do a model. No, I want the real ones. I said, you want 2 of them? And he produced a black credit card. I don't know, black credit
American
card.
Express Black.
And he said, whatever needs. I said, well, look, let me check with the factory. So they shipped back to the US, and I contacted somebody over there. They came back, yes, we can make 2, but they won't actually be 25 editions. They'll be replicas. Yeah. What spec does he want? So I phoned Paul up, and I said, what spec? He said, well, you spec them as if they're for you. Mm. So fully loaded.
White and dry.
Yeah. yeah. And they were sent over to Star Motors in Houston, and he had one, and he gave one to his works manager, and then he bought a Lotus 79 chassis one that came over here for restoration, and then from then on he's invited Bob, my wife Julie, and myself out every Christmas for his Christmas party, and he gives me his Bentley convertible to drive in for the week. What about that? And then he invited me out to Barbara, he invited me into California. Just stunning man.
I mean, that's a proper Lotus enthusiast.
Yeah. And he likes me.
Yeah.
How bizarre is that?
That's unusual, but someone's got to like you, Rich. So if you're talking about, if money's no object to you, which I know it isn't anyway, if you're pretty well financed, if you had the choice of any Lotus road car to own from any era, what would it be, mate?
You know what? I was always a big admirer of the Evora. Mm. When the Evora came, I thought this is. See, I've got an Elise at home. I've got an S1 Elise at home. I also had years ago. I had an Elan Sprint, which was lovely, which was just beautiful. Mm. But my wife got pregnant. Yeah. No clue how that happened. So
nothing, do you? Probably
had to be sold.
Yeah.
We couldn't get an offer on the baby. So no, that's joking. See, Rebecca's now 39. Yeah. I wouldn't part with her for the world. But so I remember when the Sprint went, I cried. Yeah. So this is a long answer to a short question, isn't it? Money no object. Oh, I think probably an Elite. Just look at that.
Yeah, I know. If I was asked the same question, it'd be between one of these original Elites, or just for my own personal, a V8 Sport 350, because that's got personal memories for me. But of the whole Lotus car range, this has got to be the kiddie, the Elite, because it was so radical.
I found the V8 Esprit difficult to drive.
Did you?
Yeah, I found it. I'd probably have, a Land Sprint. That's a different.
The trouble is, there's too many to choose from.
Yeah.
The classic, you got the Land, you got the Europa. They're all different in their own way.
Yeah.
They're all uniquely Lotus.
And
so
I've also got to think.
Choose?
Because I'm getting old now. No, I am. I know what you're thinking, Richard. You think, Richard, you're not old.
I wasn't thinking that.
You weren't thinking
funny
that.
Enough, I was just thinking I'm getting old as well.
So you got to think about getting in and out of things.
Yeah, that is the problem. Yeah,
I'll probably. I don't know. A Land Sprint. If I had to pick, if you're going to shoot me, a Land Sprint.
Yeah. Nice. It's
or an Elite.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to have to shoot me.
Yeah. Okay. I'll shoot you then, mate. Right. What is your favourite Lotus racing car?
25.
25.
Can't see it on there.
The little kiddie over there, yeah.
Jimmy's.
Yeah.
Pretty. I always say on my tours, when I introduce the 25, if you read that this car has been stolen, hell of a chance I've nicked it. I think they're all great cars.
But the 25 is just such a pretty little car.
Pretty.
But it kind of changed the world of Formula One when it came out, didn't it?
Monaco. Yeah, 25.